You're not on field, court, or ice. You're on the couch. From DG to DC, this is Coaching from the Couch with your host, Seawall, delivering coverage for all DC sports teams from a hometown perspective. Nats, Skins, Mystics, DC United, Washington Wizards, Caps, Bowie State.
My name's Seawall, I'm a PG girl. Down for my skins, I don't know if you heard. If you like watching sports, then I am your girl. Sit down on the couch if you not on the field. Cold on the ice, pick any sport that you want. Know that I cover it tight. What would you like? From baseball to football and more. The list can go on the whole night. Big shouts out to my HBCU fam. Never forget who I am. Through the wins and the losses, the highs and the lows. We gotta stay strong, so I stay 10 toes. Make the competition back. The way I kick it, make them mad, man. Seawall and we live and direct. Sit back on the couch and relax. Come on.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Coaching from the Couch. This is your Washington Commanders update. And I am your host, Seawall, checking in as I always do every Monday live to give you the latest and greatest information on the Washington Commanders and to also do a recap of the game. Are we ready for that conversation? Before we get into all of it, this is a reminder that this is a live Bowie television recording. Everything we do here goes straight to Bowie television, which can be found every single day. If you are a Verizon Fios user, it is channel 11 and Comcast Xfinity channel 77 every day from 1:30 to 2:30. Specifically, this show you can catch from 2 to 2:30. So be sure to be tuning in. I see so many of you already checking in. I believe I saw Damon check in, Eric Jessup, Joy, and Maz from the Seawall team have checked in. Cameron Mingo. Has everyone done a couple of things? One, have you hit that love button? Got to hit the love button. You got to make sure you are sharing the show with your Washington Commanders loving family and friends. And has everyone said hello to Mama Waller? Has everyone said hello to Mama Waller? Mama Waller got a birthday coming up, everybody. Yes, she does. So we'll definitely be celebrating her here very soon. I see also Tina Moore, Francis' son. Listen, you all, we got to get right on into this. I see you as well, Demont. Look, okay. We got to play our favorite game, which is what's your one word? We got to do that. I'm talking very slow. And I don't know why I'm talking so slow because we got so much to cover. We got to do what's your one word? And we got to get into the recap that Darrell Owens of Bowie Television has created for us. We're going to try to get through that as we can. And then we're going to dive into Ron Rivera and some of his after game presser. I really want to have this conversation with you guys. But before we get to all of that, here's some of what we saw online that folks responded that their one word was. Deborah Snyder said she was sad. Dottie said unacceptable, must do better. And I think this was your word as well, Cameron Mingo. Rubbish. Dave Thomas, if you know him, tag him in and let him know that his word rubbish made it to the screen. Chris Moore said wretch. Is it wretched or wretched? Either way, we understand what this means in terms of his one word for the game. We already know what this is, Taryn Butler Lewis. We already know what this is a picture of in terms of what her one word is to describe how she felt about the week 1 loss to the Philadelphia Eagles. And we got Cree Queen here. Train wreck. All the one words from online. Let's see. We got another disappointed. John Adams, angry. Even Mama Waller said she was a little bit embarrassed. Before we're gonna get into it, you know that we are. Eri says he was blown. We're gonna get really into it, but we definitely want to show the recap, which this recap gets into some of the amazing pictures that Darrell was able to take before the game. So hopefully that'll help you feel a little good. And we'll get into a little bit of Carson Wentz's presser. We're not going to be able to watch all of it due to the time constraints, but we're going to send that through for you guys. And then we absolutely are going to go through Ron Rivera's after game presser. There's a lot that can be digested in getting through that presser. And I want to talk with you all about all of that. So while you're checking out the week 3 recap, make sure you are tagging in your Commanders loving family and friends, and we're going to really get into this discussion.
Good enough. Definitely not good enough. Hats off to them. That's a good defense. It's a good team. They got after us, and I did not play to my standards, and especially early. I think that's tough, and unfortunately, back-to-back weeks kind of dug ourselves a hole there, and I got to be better, especially early on, so that we're not, having to throw the whole second half and let them play coverage and do some things differently. So I got to be better.
You were sacked 9 times. From your point of view, what do you think went wrong for you guys there?
Yeah, I think that's a combination. Anytime there's a number like that, that is not the O-line. That is not all the O-line. I got to be better. I got to get rid of the ball in a lot of those situations and find a way to just find a check down and move on and different things like that. So hats off to their D-line, their front. It's a good front. But I got to be better and help our guys out. And I think it's a culmination also of being down. Having to come back, throw it around in the second half where that D-line can just pin their ears back and get after us. And so we got to be better, especially early, so we can avoid some of that.
You said on Wednesday you didn't know what the emotions would be, just kind of what were they actually going through it now?
Yeah, once the kickoff happened, it was football again. It was kind of surreal pregame, seeing all those guys, the coin toss, seeing BG and Fletcher and Jason Kelsey. I was right next to him for years there. And so there's some surreal moments for sure, especially early in the game, pregame. But once the kickoff happened, it was football again, and we got out-executed.
And it looked like you swapped with Jason Kelsey at the end. What did that mean to you, or could you just kind of walk us through that?
Yeah, Jason Kelsey means the world to me. A guy that, coming in as a rookie quarterback, made all the calls, took a lot of responsibility off my plate, and did a lot of things for me, and just was always a good friend. And he's an awesome guy, awesome teammate, awesome father of a couple kids, and so it's cool to be able to compete against him, swap jerseys with him, a guy that'll be a lifelong friend for sure.
Carson, do you think your performance was affected by the team you were playing and the fans that they brought here? There was a lot of green in there.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think they got our number today. I don't think the performance was affected by that. I've obviously been on that side of the ball. I know the Eagles fans travel well, and they showed up and they had a lot to cheer for today because we didn't play our best ball. I didn't play my best ball, and hats off to them.
Carson, the Eagles defense, do you feel like they did anything different that you hadn't seen on tape, or was it pretty much more on your end on underperforming?
Yeah, I think they did some different things, but as a whole, probably not a ton. I think they kind of lined up and did their thing, and we tried to do the same, and we got out-executed. They did it better than us today, and we'll have to learn from it and get better.
So I got to acknowledge this comment I saw come through from Tina Moore, which is, we got sacked more times than we scored points. Facts, Tina. That's facts. All the way facts. And if you haven't checked in yet with the love button or a comment to let us know that you're here, make sure you do that so we can greet you properly as part of the Seawall Sports and Entertainment and Bowie Television family for certain. I have a lot to talk about. Okay. We got to get into it though. I really made a decision to, and I'm going to share. We've basically split up. Darrell and I split up Coach Rivera's after game presser, and here's why I thought this was important. I think that I understand how Coach Rivera communicates, and I really want to get an opportunity to share what he said. We've split it up into 2-minute segments, and after each one, we're going to take a pause. And I'm going to stay, normally I don't stay on the screen for videos, but you all are probably going to be seeing me taking notes real time of things I want to make sure I mention to you all, because we really dissect what Coach Rivera is saying and what he's not. And so make sure you check in with that love button. Make sure you tag in your fellow Washington Commanders fans, because you absolutely want to be a part of this discussion. So let's get into it. Are y'all with me? Are you with me? Because I think I always see comments about Ron and what he's saying. And I know folks are just agitated overall with Ron. But I think this is going to be a key conversation, and I definitely want to talk to you all about it, because some of this is just Ron's demeanor, and let's get right on into some of the conversation. So let's start up with the first 2 minutes of his after game presser.
The offense really struggled in that first half.
Yep.
You can see all the sacks and all that, but for you, what went wrong today? Why wasn't it?
Well, I just think we got to protect a little bit better. We missed some opportunities to give him a little bit of time. He had some guys open, but we didn't have time, and that's unfortunate. But also, again, as I'll tell you guys, we'll look at it. We'll see whether or not we give him the opportunity to succeed with what we're calling.
What did you think in the second half then? After did you?
Well, we
feel
had some opportunities, but we missed opportunities too. We got a chance to make plays. We got to make those plays. That way we keep the ball going, keep the chains going, and we can't get into third and longs because those are really hard to convert.
Ron, last week you talked about the explosive plays allowed by the defense, how you couldn't allow that to happen. Obviously, it happened again today. What did you see on that end?
Well, I thought we reacted pretty well, and we handled it pretty well up to a point in the second quarter. And there's a little bit of lacking in complementary football. When one side's playing well, the other side's got to step up and play well too. And that goes for all three phases.
And the depth, obviously, you were tested without William Jackson, and you're missing guys on the defensive line. How much was that challenging today?
It was challenging, but it gave us an opportunity to have some young guys step up and play. It was good to see young guys get opportunities, and I thought Benjamin St. Juste, bowed his neck and made some plays and did some things. He allowed a couple plays, but he's been working at the nickel for the most part. Now he got his opportunity to get outside. He showed us, some really positive things.
The 9 sacks, I know it's, you saw from the field level, you have to go back and watch the tape.
Yep.
Is it more so on the offensive line or maybe Carson holding the ball too long? What did you see exactly
It's probably
there?
a combination. We'll have to take a look at the tape, see what they were doing, defensively, and just go from there.
Your message to the guys after the game?
Learn from this, and now start focusing on getting ready for next week, more so than anything else.
So, all right. And I'm seeing the comments coming through, and I already can tell you guys, we're going to go over. We're going to go over tonight. Does everybody hear me? We're going over tonight. So that's me probably getting in trouble with the station. At any rate, so listen, here's what are some of the things. And I think first things first, I really want to acknowledge this. What happened to, listen, unprepared. This William Jackson injury came up on Saturday. And so they had to pull Wild Goose, bring him up. And I think that is absolutely something that showed was an issue. Excited, not able to just collect himself, and everyone knew. The Eagles knew William Jackson is injured. This just happened on Saturday, so it's exactly what Mazdak has right here, and he wasn't ready, and he absolutely was not. The Eagles knew that. They saw the opportunity. They took it. I'm not mad at them. That's what you're supposed to do. Somebody is out there new to the system, practice squad. That's great, but that's not like in-game competition on a Sunday afternoon. So they knew he was new. They played on that, and it worked to their advantage. That's flat out the whole thing with Wild Goose. Okay. So I want to go back to something that was positive, and that was Benjamin St-Juste. Benjamin St-Juste had quite a few pass breakups in that first quarter and second quarter that helped a lot, because it would have been disastrous, seriously, if not. Okay, so I absolutely want to recognize Benjamin St-Juste, as Coach Rivera did. I think that's important. We already heard Carson say in his after-game presser that that's not all on the O-line. That's on him. He's got to get the ball out faster. And he does. Carson Wentz has been notorious for exactly what we saw week 3. Okay, the challenge is we hadn't really seen that from Carson week 1 and week 2. Okay, so let me I hope I remember that point. Don't let me forget that, because I want to get into a bit more, but that's a spoiler alert, so I don't want to get into that just yet. Coach Rivera mentioned that they handled it to a point in the second quarter. And I said this to Commanders media colleague Dave Harrison from Sports Illustrated Fan Nation and Locked On Commanders. I shared this with him. I said the defense is doing the best that they can. And we had gotten kind of through the first quarter. I said the offense has to hurry up and score, because the defense is not going to hold up. They're just not. And Coach Rivera recognized that. He did. And so this is why I'm piecing everything apart. He recognized it. They handled it to a point in the second quarter. And I knew when it shifted in the second quarter. I said, that was it. I told you. The defense can only hold, but for so long. And if the offense can't get going, it won't. Not against a team like the Eagles. Drop a love emoji or a fire emoji if I have been saying to you all for months now that the Eagles were the team to watch in this division. They had an amazing offseason. They absolutely did. And they drafted. Absolutely. They did. They did the daggone thing on that draft. And we saw A.J. Brown. And remember, I don't know which page I posted it on, but when the Eagles made that move for A.J. Brown, I said, oh, no, we don't need A.J. Brown in this division. I've been tracking them. I tell you all the time, here's a key in knowing where you are. You must pay attention to what the rest of the division is doing in the offseason and in the draft. Okay? You have to pay attention what everybody else is doing, because that will be a key indicator of how well your team will do. Okay? Listen. I think I've covered everything for that one. Is everybody ready for the next set of 2 minutes? Is everybody ready for the next piece? Another 2 minutes produced by Darrell Owens of what Coach Rivera said in the after-game presser. Let me know you're ready, and we're going to get right on into it, you all. Okay, here we go.
In games always seem to count more. Where do you feel this is right now between you and Philly and Dallas especially?
Oh, I think it's right where it needs to be as far as I'm concerned. We still got 14 games left. We're 1-2. I mean, it's an early part of the season. We've got a young group of guys that are getting opportunities to play, learn, and grow and develop as a unit. So, I do think this is a chance for us to continue to grow and get better as a football team. Playing an awful lot of young guys out there, and the only way to get better is through experience. And we'll take a few lumps right now, but we're going to start giving them out pretty soon, too.
Could you sense at any point during this game that the circumstances, with how Carson left Philly, the fans, a lot of them being from Philly, did that have any effect on him, do you think?
I don't think so. I think they did some things that, we should have been able to handle and counter, and we didn't. And that's really what it came down to.
And you preached during the week of paying attention to details to eliminate the explosive plays. Do you feel like your team did that overall?
I thought we did some good things early on. Like I said, up until about in the end of the second quarter, we struggled a little bit, and that was disappointing because, we kept it, the defense came out and did a couple of real good things, had the 4th down on the red zone right there, and we kept them from scoring, that's a big deal.
What did you make of Carson overall?
Well, I think he could have played better. I mean, that's the truth.
And I guess what would be the points that you would make maybe to him or
Well,
going
when
forward?
we get an opportunity to go through it with a fine-tooth comb, we'll give those points to him.
Or before the game, there was an ESPN report that you guys were.
That was a bullcrap report, okay? Just so everybody understands it. Okay, I didn't talk to anybody about that. Okay, I'm not sure where that all came from. I'm disappointed that came out like that, especially in today's game. I really am. And that's, because I didn't talk to anybody about Jimmy Garoppolo.
It seems like the timing in
No,
particular.
I know.
ahead of
The
this.
timing is what really upsets me.
Listen, we're going to get right on into it. We're going to get right on into it, you all. First things first, division games, 14 games left. 14 games left. Let me let you all know something real quick. That is the outlook of the team. Nobody is panicking. Okay? Nobody is in panic mode. No one. Week 3, no panic mode. All right. I want to send that message. I want to let you all know that is a resounding message. It is still early. And I know, Coach, he kind of, said, hey, we taking a few lumps, but we're going to start giving them out soon too. Okay, Coach, I heard that. All right. So nobody is in panic mode. Russ McCray has checked in and said that he is. And while we're there about the panic mode, and I know this show was going to go over tonight because I needed to tell, and there's a couple, they need to, everyone is panicking. Everyone is panicking. The fan base is panicking. The team is not panicking. I'm just here to report the news. And that's what I've been telling people all week. Whenever they say something and they call me, they ask me a question and I answer and they say, you know what? I should have hung up on you. I shouldn't have answered the phone. I should say, hey, I'm just here to report the news. That's all I'm doing. And so, hey, okay, fine. But I was sitting, and if Darrell is still on, he will tell you, oh, this is a transparent moment, an inside look into Seawall, and Bowie Television and how we're doing something. Okay. A media colleague, I won't say who it is, but a media colleague, it was, what was it? I don't even know. Maybe it was during the halftime or something. It's just a blur. And it was yesterday. Said he happened to look over. And I don't know what he was looking at, but he said he happened to look over and he said he saw me with my arms folded and I just had a face of stone, is what he said. He said I had a stone face and my arms were folded really tight. And he said, wow, Candy's always smiling, or she's at least very relaxed. She's not smiling at all. She's just real tight right now. And all I could say back to him was, whew. And he said, that's all you can say. I said, that's all I got. Until they bring Mountain Dew back into the press box, because Mountain Dew helps me get through. So I wanted to share that with you all. And I think Tina Moore is trying to guess, no, it wasn't my big brother Lake. But that even a colleague noticed that I don't even think it was a poker face, evidently, Russ. I think I was just sitting there. I don't know what I don't know. I had zoned out. And then my now recurring joke is whenever I had zoned out, I just say they need to get Mountain Dew back in here because, and I think now that everyone understands why I say that, and I didn't even know it was a self-reflection, it was therapeutic actually. Getting to the bottom of why I start asking for Mountain Dew when things start going down the tubes. So I had to share that with you all because we're going back to the point of panic. And you hate to say you didn't see some of this coming, but we did. And you just want to buy into, don't panic. It's early. But, and this is how I know we definitely going over. In the NFL, Justin Herbert of the Chargers is playing, and he don't even have any ribs, does he? His ribs are all messed up. The cartilage is all jacked up. I don't know why they let him play, but guess what? They did. Tua down in Miami, I don't know if anybody saw what happened in that game, but Tua clearly was out of it. Tua, they took him out and they put him back in. And I'm like, well, listen, if this is not panic mode, then why are other teams going to such drastic measures to in week three to play their QB1? I'm the kind of person that I check my surroundings to understand if the words make sense. And I'm like, but wait, you got a quarterback over there in the West Coast that's all broke up in his rib area, and he's still playing and wants to play, and they're gonna let him play. And then they got somebody down in Miami who's just he's dizzy. He got up. I for sure knew he had a concussion, and they let him go back out there, and they actually won the game. So those are the things you got to pay attention to from a league perspective and what's happening around the league and across the league, even in week 3, to see what's happening. Okay, so listen, we're going to take a break right now. We're going to do the foundation video now because I think it's important to do that now before we get into the next 2 videos that we're going to show, because I'm going to keep on dissecting this because I definitely want to get into Carson and the report about Carson and the Philadelphia Eagles fans. Oh, I know y'all can't wait for me to talk about them, right? Okay. So let's do this. Let's do this with the foundation announcement. And some of you, or most of you all, have seen it before, but please stick around because we're definitely going to get into a lot more of discussion around the week 3 loss to the Philadelphia Eagles. Hi, everybody. My name is Candy Waller, and I'm the founder and CEO of Seawall Sports and Entertainment, a sports media outlet covering professional, collegiate, and youth sports in the Washington metropolitan area. As you may know, this is my 5th year anniversary, and I am so very excited to be celebrating with all of you with this very special announcement. Some of you know that I'm having a 5th anniversary celebration in which I said there's a charity that we'll all be donating to, and I was going to share that news today, March 6th, on the 5th anniversary. It is my honor to share with you all the announcement of the Seawall Foundation, a program established to enhance the life skills and athletic programs for high school and collegiate athletes. There's definitely more information to come. To learn more about the Seawall Foundation and to donate, you can go to www.seawallfoundation.org,
or you can send us an email at info@seawallfoundation.org. I look forward to working with the community and partner organizations on this amazing community initiative, and I'll be talking to you all again soon.
So listen, I really want to pull this up, getting right back into it about the report of the Commanders, Ron Rivera checking into Jimmy G. Here's one thing I can tell you all for certain. If it were true, it would have gotten out way before now. That's number one. Number two, it's exactly what DJ Bland said, and this comes out now. If it's true, this comes out now. We've had conversations on this show, and we've heard conversations about where Carson may need to work on his leadership skills and other things. And of course, it's to say that, okay, maybe, Carson wasn't rattled by the report, number one, that he wasn't rattled by the fans. Because let me tell you something about those Eagles fans, especially they were in the stadium early. And when the Commanders, first came out for their warm-ups, all you could hear was boos. All you could hear was boos. And I said to myself, the Commanders fans better get up in here, because this right here is embarrassing. That's embarrassing. Everybody has a thing that makes you tick. Everybody has a thing that it gets you off. Everybody has something. Even the strongest of people, everybody got a tick. And between how loud the fans were, I mean, they were booing. I was like, where are we? Carson came out. It made me ask, well, what did Carson do to Eagles fans? What did he do? Did he do something? So what did he do something? He must have did something. He had to slap somebody. He did something. But no, he didn't do anything. That's just fans, right? That might have been the thing that made him tick. Everybody's got a tick. Everybody has a tick. And because it was so strategically done, I said, that's Carson's tick. Carson was having a really good season. And technically he still is. Let's be fair. The numbers speak for themselves in that regard. The statistics speak for themselves in that regard. That was the first time he had played Philly. Okay, since he left, or since he was no longer there. But I really want to pay attention, and you all pay attention to how things are strategically done. Because if something is big as that in Jimmy G, like, that would have been came out. And what's the point? What's the point in sharing Jimmy G now when Jimmy G is QB1 over in San Francisco? He's in no danger of losing his job anytime soon. There's no point at all. So I said, okay, that might be what makes him tick. Got it. Everybody's got a tick. I don't think he necessarily did anything. I just saw so many fights and much everything yesterday that I'm like, people are just, wow, over sport. They just woo. And even though we just shared a comment where Carson said, that's not on the O-line, that's on me. I held the football too long. Listen, I said, he's trying to grow, But that's like a life lesson right there. Somebody knows what your tick is, they can always use it to get to you. So maybe it was a tick. Maybe he didn't realize it was a tick. But all I know is this: he held that football too long, and he hasn't had that issue yet here. Not the whole entire game. Like, you do it sometimes, and let's be for real, Carson's notorious for it. But my word, sure, yes, the O-line didn't hold up some of the time, but absolutely, as Carson said, that was on him. Held the football too long. He was nervous. It was evident, at least to me, that he was nervous. So, hey, more to come, because we absolutely going to continue to dissect this after presser, because I got a lot I can say, as you all can see. All right, let's get on into the third piece of this press conference.
I ask you about the challenge flag. It seemed like you had thrown it, maybe not.
Well, I needed to throw it sooner, is the truth of the matter. You know, we couldn't really get a clear look. We were hoping to get a review look, and then eventually I just, said, screw it, I got to throw it, and by then it was a little late, so that's on me. I still don't know whether he was in or out. I asked the referees for their definition. They told me he had 1 foot down, the other foot he dragged. From my vantage point, I thought he got his shin down when he was going out of bounds. So shin body part equals 2 feet.
For some of the sacks where Carson maybe held the ball too long, how do you speed that up with play calling? Or is that something you need to work with him? I mean, how can you address that in the future?
Well, there's 10 other guys on the field. We've got to make sure we're protecting. We've got to make sure we're running the routes in a timely fashion. And there's 11 guys on the other side that we've got to, deal with as well. And so we'll, like I said, when we get an opportunity to look at everything and look at the finer points, I know Scott and I know Kenny will get those things across to him.
And Terry's stats will look good, but it took him a while to get involved. Do you feel like there needs to be a more concerted effort? I know you guys have many options on offense, but for him in particular.
Well, I think, again, when you have a talent like that, yeah, we probably need to get the ball to him a little bit more. I do know, though, a lot of it has to do with, what happened in the first half.
Coach, you can look at the tape and see what you did wrong to try to improve, but the fact is you guys are 1-2.
Yep.
And numbers-wise, it's maybe a 25% chance of making the playoffs. When you hear something like that and knowing where you want to be at, how frustrating is that for you?
I'm not too frustrated about it because, as I said earlier, I believe we got 14 games left. We got plenty of time, but we will run out of time if we don't get things rolling. Go ahead.
What is the challenge, just from the coaching staff, of trying to jumpstart the offense, defense, all three phases after disappointing first half?
I think the biggest thing is, and again, I say this, is we just got to make sure we're getting ourselves in position to make plays. Then we got to go out and make them. But we got to make sure that we're putting them in those positions. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, again, we'll look at the tape, we'll break the tape down, and we'll talk about what happened, and we'll talk about how we can be better.
And I see this comment coming in here from Bobby Safewright that says he's not giving up on the Commanders yet. There's a lot of football games left in this season to play before the season ends. Hail to the Washington Commanders. Listen, I'm going to repeat it because I need y'all to understand. That's the message. That's the energy. 14 more games. That is the energy. And I believe that that's the real energy. Nobody is panicking. I'm just being honest. Here's what I wanted to dissect in this one. That the challenge flag. Are y'all ready? You got to drop a fire emoji or a love button for what I have to say about this challenge flag. Was the Philly player in or out? I saw Russ McCray says call a timeout. I think I saw... Yes, Philly knew, and Philly absolutely knew. And in that headset, in that quarterback helmet, they told, I know, they told Jalen, get it off, because they knew he was not in. He wasn't in. He wasn't in. He was out. You call that time out. Here's the challenge. But here's what I want to share with you all about that whole play. If we heard Ron say, that's on me. I said that entire sequence, that's the riverboat right there. That's the riverboat. That's the riverboat I know. That's Ron Rivera. And I wanted to piece that together for you all. That is who he is. He's passive. Very passive. He's going to wait until somebody says, Coach, timeout, throw the flag. I mean, you can't dip off real quick and go get some ice. You really have to be paying attention because that entire sequence, that's Ron. I said, oh man, I can't wait to talk about this on the show because that's him. And it's not, I'm not, that's just who he is. And yes, they're supposed to have someone in the booth that's strictly looking at plays to challenge. But I just said, you cannot go and get ice. You can't go stop and go get your Gatorade. You can't go get a Sierra Mist right fast because when you know you are dealing with a coach that is passive in that way and is totally reliant on what you are saying, you have to have your eyes open all the time. If you're not on point, he's waiting. He's waiting on somebody to tell him what to do. So I'm going to say, I used to think that's what it was. That's what I used to think it was. It's not that. He's waiting on somebody to say, go. Then he's going to go. He's waiting on somebody to say, do. And then he's going to do. He said he thought he was in. He didn't even know. Yeah, that's on me because you're waiting for somebody else to tell you something. And truthfully, somebody else should have. But when you know that your leader is passive, you have to be the aggressive one. So who on the staff is going to be aggressive? Hold that thought, okay? Because that was typical Ron Rivera right there. I said, there go Ron. That's Ron waiting on somebody else to say, go for it. Come on, Riverboat. That challenge flag got on my nerves. I don't think I was right after that. That wasn't even when I shut down and had the stone face and my arms folded. That wasn't it. Somebody has to understand you're dealing with a passive person, then somebody has to be the opposite of the passive person. If he's waiting for you to be the expert, then that means you have to be the expert. Be the expert. Take a time out. Good Lord. Good grief. Y'all don't know who he is? If I figured out who he is by now, I would have thought that everyone else did. He was out. Granted, based on where we're sitting, we can clearly say, and that was the play. I said, that is classic Ron Rivera, waiting for someone else to tell him something. And Philly got it off. And now look, because now they already know they're smarter than you. That's the key. A lot of times in coaching, the other staff just wants to prove that they're smarter than you, and they got outsmarted. Now, which segment was that? That play really, really got under my skin. Can't you all tell? It really did. I was like, oh, typical. Okay, I think that was segment 3. We're on to segment 4. Here we go, everybody. The last
You had
one.
a trying summer start of the year with the interior part of the offensive line with all the injuries that you guys had during camp, and now obviously no Chase Rie. Looked like there were some struggles today. That's always a unit that takes some time to mesh. How much of a challenge has that been so far for you guys?
Well, it's been a bit of a challenge, but they'll continue to work. They'll continue to work at it. And they'll get better at it, and I believe they'll come together. And again, I'm an optimist.
With Wentz, was there anything that they were doing that you noticed kind of got to him, or I guess especially on third down?
Well, you can't get yourself in third and longs. I mean, when they can just pin their ears back and go, that's hard. That's very hard on the offensive line. That's very hard on the quarterback.
Take 3 more. Coach, you mentioned earlier just how young the group is and how you're taking your lumps. What's the logic when you need to bring guys in to go in the young route or claiming someone off waivers who maybe hasn't played before rather than bringing in a veteran who's done it somewhere else?
Well, you'd like to have some continuity is what you would really like to have. And then if you don't, then what you got to do is you got to look at, who fits into what you're doing. And so for us, we got an opportunity to build some young players, give them an opportunity to get out there on the football field. We got a good young group of wide receivers that we like. We got some young tight ends that, got to continue to grow and develop. We're pretty good at running back. I'm happy with that group of guys. I really am. And then you look on the defensive side and you say the same thing. We got some young DBs that are rotating in and out and playing, some young defensive linemen, and a couple of young linebackers. But again, we got to play better, and that's the key. We've got to coach them up, and they got to continue to work and just keep getting better.
Ron, just to be clear, there's no point during a game like this that you're thinking about a switch at quarterback.
No, I'm not.
Last one.
Ron, could you kind of expand on why Garoppolo for it, especially the timing of it? Yeah, we're getting ready to play Philadelphia. That to me, that's really. No, just we're getting ready to play Philadelphia. Really, come on. That's what I'm disappointed in. I really am. Because again, I think whatever it is, for whatever reason, the report's got to get. Does it really have to get out, or could it waited till after we finished our game then get it out? So, I'm just disappointed it got out.
You have.
Sorry, I hit the wrong button. Ron just told everybody, whether you were paying attention or not, that report could have potentially gotten under Carson's skin. Because the timing of it, he acknowledged, is because we're getting ready to play Philadelphia. Life lesson. Everybody's got a tick. Everybody. They found his tick. And it showed on the field. Listen. This was absolutely the worst possible scenario that could have transpired the week before playing Dallas. And I shared this with you all last week. I'm not saying that the Commanders had to win. It would have been good. It would have been great if they did. Matter of fact, I told a lot of people that was a must-win game for the Commanders. I want to acknowledge something that Damon said, and I don't think Carson is mentally weak toward other teams. I think it's Philly. I think Philly, that's his first love right there. Everybody reminisce for a minute. Everybody knows how they are over their first boo. Over the one you thought you was gonna be with forever and never and ever. Amen. Okay. That's the problem. That's baby cakes right there. And I get it though. I understand it. I absolutely understand it though. And I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say what I've continued to say. That's right. Listen, I'm going to have to tell him to step into Seawall's office. Okay? Because that's all it is. It's your first love. The team you thought you was going to wear the colors for the rest of your life. You was going to do this for the rest of your life. The relationship you thought you was going to be in for the rest of your life. And that ain't what happened. Because business is business. And I am sensitive to that. But you also have to understand how to move on. Listen, this is going to be a long week. This is going to be a long week, and I just listen. And Darrell shared with you all earlier in the show that Bowie TV will be in Dallas. We will be at the rest of the away games. At least that's God willing, and that's what the plan is. It's where I'm supposed to be, so that's where I will be. Mama Waller said we're not doing Christmas in San Francisco, so I don't think I'll be at that game. But Dallas is up next, and this will be interesting going into Jerry Jones' house, and that's what I've been calling it all week long. What is this? Where is that in proximity to where Jerry Jones lives? Where's Jerry Jones' house? And what I'm talking about is AT&T Stadium. So this is going to be a long week. I understand it's a long season, but again, when you see teams out there making the sacrifices in the decisions, in the choices that they make in week 3, it's very hard to buy into. It's a long season. So, with that being said, you all, thank you for hanging out with us. This was good. This was great. And I hope you all enjoyed the dialogue. The Commanders will always have us on for a very long time. Listen, you all continue to share this show with your Washington Commanders loving family and friends. I'll be back in touch with you all later in the week to talk all things DMV sports. And we'll have some fun then. And maybe we'll have Mama Waller say a prayer or two before everyone gets ready for beat Dallas on Sunday. Let's hope. Anyway, listen, you all be safe and enjoy the rest of your evenings. And I'm going to see you guys again soon.
You're not on the field, court, or ice. You're on the couch. From PG to DC, this is Coaching from the Couch with your host, Seawall. Delivering coverage for all DC sports teams from the hometown perspective. Nats, Skins, Mystics, DC United, Washington Wizards, Caps, Bowie State.
My name's Seawall, I'm a PG girl. Down for my skins, I don't know if you heard. If you like watching sports, then I am your girl. Sit down on the couch if you not on the field. Cold on the ice, pick any sport that you want. Know that I cover it tight. What would you like? From baseball to football and more. The list can go on the whole night. Big shouts out to my HBCU fam. Never forget who I am through the wins and the losses, the highs and the lows. We gotta stay strong, so I stay 10 toes. Make the competition back. The way I kick it, make them mad, man. Seawall and we live and direct. Sit back on the couch and relax. Come on.